Hey all. I almost said y'all. Hey all. I think it's Wednesday. It's been a very long week. Wiki is gone. I've been awake since 5:30 this morning because I have a 14,000 step goal to meet, and I didn't want to be doing my steps in the rain. So my OCPD, my need to satisfy the goal meant I got my ass out of bed way too early this morning. So I'm gonna brain dump, and it's probably not gonna be coherent. So we'll just see how this goes. A friend asked me last week a question, and actually I have it here, that way I could phrase it right and try and formulate a response. I had shared while I was on vacation and enjoying life just in being, I had shared a progress picture, I think it is what it was, and got a bunch of positive feedback, and a lot of it more with regards to my confidence than anything else, or with regards to my confidence, and also with regards to like my physical transformation, as I guess you could say. It's quite obvious. Sorry, I should also apologize. I'm surrounded by 6 animals right now, so I'm gonna be probably heavily distracted. Not medicated, there's nothing in this other than tea, but yeah, I'm just gonna be all over the place. Where was I going? Yeah, in the last 2 years, year and a half, I have gone through a very evident physical transformation, change, in having lost about 30 pounds. I know it, you know it, anybody who's ever seen a picture of me can figure it out. I did this as a step along the way to where I am now. So we're gonna hit rewind, and we're gonna go back, because the question that I had a friend ask, or the question really was, and I'll put it this way, there is no way, and this is no way a criticism, so I'm trying to ask it in the right way. Stephanie, don't worry, I didn't take it that way. I'm curious about your thoughts on your value, thinking you are enough, being worth investment versus your appearance, and the pressures placed on women to look or be a certain way. She goes on to say, I felt valuable and beautiful when I was fat, so valuable, in fact, I wanted to live longer for my family. Do you think through your transformation, you've gained the confidence to embrace your own value? If you were to wake up tomorrow and suddenly look the way you did before, would you feel lesser? So I saw Stephanie's message, I read it, and then I read it again, and then I read it again. I think it was 24 hours before I even responded, because the question in itself sounds so simple. And when you start to unpack it, it's a disaster. So for me, this is a very hard thing to respond to. So rewind. I have obsessive compulsive personality disorder. In short, I have a need for perfection. I set unrealistic expectations. This results in constant and continuous disappointment, because perfect does not exist. So as you can imagine, with that comes a very strong feeling of not being worthwhile, not being enough. So despite the outwardly confident image that I have spent a very long time perfecting in my need for perfection, I never felt like I was enough, smart enough, funny enough, outgoing enough, pretty enough, skinny enough, strong enough. And I spent my whole life doing all the right things to try and be perfect, behaving the right way, wearing the right thing, saying the right response, even if it was not the response that honored my feelings. So I spent 31 plus years invalidating myself every step of the way. So the question about thoughts on value versus appearance. Is a very hard one for me to respond to, because I have a personality disorder that by definition, I'm never enough. I am never going to be, beautiful enough or skinny enough or have the right shape, the right whatever. I mean, it's funny, the loss of almost 30 pounds was a mission I started a year and a half ago, because for my birthday, I went and had my boobs done. Not necessarily anything worth sharing, but I didn't want to have implants because for me, it wasn't the right thing. And I always felt disproportionate. I wasn't enough because my lower half is bigger than my upper half. And I can tell you now, if I hadn't had the procedure, I would have no upper half. Anyway, long story short, I, rather than going about having implants, I had fat transfer done. I had liposuction from my stomach done and injected up top. I have shared that with friends, a few people, even some colleagues at work, but I haven't broadcasted it to the world because it's something that, quite frankly, was so subtle when I had the procedure done that you wouldn't have known that I had it done. My stomach didn't shrink, but in my head, I'm thinking, I've just spent all this money, have had the benefits of having liposuction done, and you hear the horror stories of people who use cosmetic procedures, liposuction specifically, as an excuse or as a way of resetting, but they don't change their behavior. So they gain a pile of weight after they've had a procedure done to essentially make them smaller. My mission, I mean, honestly, when I went in for the consult for the procedure, I just went in with this desire to have larger breasts. I honestly said to the surgeon, I don't care where we take fat from, so wherever you recommend. So he gives me this chart of like, we could change all this stuff about you. And I was like, oh, I truly didn't think my kneecaps needed to be smaller or my elbows, you know, needed to have fat sucked off of them. But it's good to know that if I really wanted to have this done, that it is possible. Anyway, I digress. But I said to myself, I've had the benefit of having this procedure done. I've spent the money. I've invested all of this to get what I want. So the wrong thing would be to go eat everything I want. So the right thing is to get my money's worth. So I started meal prep. And I lost 10 pounds in 8 weeks, just changing my diet. And then I realized how nutrition worked. I started to learn about energy balance. And my whole outlook on food and fitness changed. And I've lost almost 30 pounds. And I honestly don't have a clue what my body fat percentage is now. And I guess I thought on a couple of occasions about talking about having my breast augmentation procedure and how it changed that changed my life. But there were so many reasons my life changed leading up to the decision to do that, because I never felt like I was enough. I wasn't happy in the skin that I was in. So I changed the skin that I was in. And as you can see, since I spent 6 weeks in an outpatient program at a mental and behavioral health facility, it wasn't the outside that I was unhappy about. It was the inside. So whether my thoughts on value versus appearance and the pressures placed on women to look a certain way. Number one, I don't think it's women. I think society sets expectations. Or society allows for expectations to be set, but we set expectations on ourselves. And if you allow those expectations to dictate your life, you arrive at a conclusion. So the second part of the question, do you think your transformation, or through the transformation, I've gained the confidence to embrace my value? And if I were to wake up tomorrow and suddenly look the way I did before, would I feel lesser? Yeah, I mean, through changing the way I looked was part of my journey in totally falling apart. So I wouldn't be here if I hadn't changed the way I looked. Because I would not have realized that it wasn't the outside that was holding me back. I would never have learned that it was my train of thought. So today or tomorrow, if I woke up and I looked the way I did before, would I feel lesser? No. Because the way you feel about yourself is based on your life experience. And I've had a lot of experience in feeling less when I didn't need to. And yeah, welcome to the crowd. The way you view yourself or the way you feel about yourself is based on the way you talk to yourself. Buddy, I'm in the middle of recording. So it's important to treat yourself with kindness. Treat yourself the way you would want somebody else to treat you. And human beings are really bad at doing that. So I think it comes across as confidence to other people. Truthfully, I'm just learning to love myself. So that maybe doesn't really answer the question, but there it is.